Ahoy, this is Zdenka. In this video, we are taking an in-depth look at DJI Osmo Mobile 8. From setup and balancing to all the key features, shooting modes, and real-world tips. I'll show you how to get the most out of this gimbal. Timestamps are enabled so you can find the sections you're looking for more easily. This video is not sponsored. I got the gimbal myself. If you haven't charged your gimbal yet, all you need to know is that when the battery level indicator turns off, the gimbal is fully charged. To turn on the gimbal, simply grab the arm and open it up. The gimbal will automatically turn on. To turn it off, just long press the power button. The gimbal will shut off and move into this position, ready to be folded. Just pull it down and fold. The gimbal has a built-in tripod that you simply pull out like this. This one is good for filming indoors or on less windy days. For strong winds, it's recommended to attach a stronger tripod. There is a port at the bottom. To attach the phone, ensure the clamp camera symbol is pointing towards your phone's camera, and the clamp should be positioned in the center of the phone. Align the square on the clamp with the square on the gimbal and connect. When you see a steady gimbal mode light, it is this white one, the gimbal is working correctly, stabilizing your phone. If you don't see the light, press the M button to enable stabilization. The gimbal has a built-in selfie stick. Once you extend the selfie stick, make sure you adjust the pen motor to be level with the ground so it's balanced properly, especially when you place it on a table like this. When I go back to the basic mode, you can see that the pen motor is tilted. So you need to make that adjustment when you pull out the selfie stick. To be able to use the gimbal, you have to connect it to DJI Mimo app first. On the gimbal's arm is a QR code. Scan that and it will take you directly to a page where you can download DJI Mimo. Once you download the app, enable Bluetooth on your phone, open up the DJI Mimo app, and just follow the steps to connect the gimbal. If you have trouble connecting via Bluetooth, go to Bluetooth settings on your phone. Remove any existing connections with the gimbal by hitting Forget the Gimbal. Tap the new device name in Bluetooth settings. Then open up the DJI Mimo app and all should be ready to go. When you look at the gimbal's display, if the Bluetooth indicator pulses green, Bluetooth is disconnected. When it is solid green, the gimbal is connected. Now this is quite rare, but if you ever run into Bluetooth trouble and you need to reset the gimbal, press the shutter button, switch button, and trigger at the back at the same time and hold it for more than 1 second. What is important is firmware update. When you open up DJI Mimo, sometimes you get a prompt that there is a new firmware available. Make sure you attach the multifunctional model to the gimbal, as the firmware will get automatically updated on the module as well. First, check if you have a battery level showing green, so there is enough power, and then simply follow the steps. If the battery level is over 60%, the light will be green. 20 to 60%, the light will be yellow. 6 to 9%, light will be red. And if it blinks red, the power is below 5%. Don't close the DJI Mimo app, just let it all update. The lights will be alternately blinking during the update. If the lights blink simultaneously, the firmware update failed. If that happens, just restart the DJI Mimo app, make sure the Bluetooth connection is good, and try again. The gimbal is all set. What all these buttons do? Let's start with the power button. When the gimbal is folded, when it is off, press the power button 1 time to check the battery level. When the gimbal is unfolded and it is off, when you press 1 time, you will power on the gimbal. As the power button is also the M button, when you press it once, you will switch between gimbal modes. If you press 3 times, you will enter standby mode. To exit standby mode, just press any button. If you press and hold the power button, you will turn off the gimbal. The power button also controls phone charging, but I will get to that a little bit later. The side wheel is next. Please note that all side wheel functions will work only in DJI Mimo app. When you press the side wheel once, it will switch between focus, zoom, and joystick zoom mode. In zoom mode, you just rotate the joystick to zoom in or out. In manual focus mode, when you rotate the wheel, you can do a focus pull, and in joystick zoom mode, you can zoom in and out when you press the joystick up or down. The wheel will also work, the joystick feels just more comfortable. Let's just press again to disable this on the joystick, so the joystick can control the movement of the gimbal. If you push the joystick twice to the left or right, the gimbal will automatically rotate 360 degrees continuously. To stop the movement, once it comes around, just double press the trigger at the back. You can film this 360 degree clip in any app. This is not related only to DJI Mimo app. The shutter button has several functions as well. Press once to take a photo, start or stop recording in video. In the DJI Mimo app, when you are, for example, in the gallery, when you press once, it will take you back to camera view. If you are recording a video and press twice, it will take a photo during recording. If you are in photo mode, if you press and hold, you will enable burst mode. The last button at the front of the gimbal is a switch button. When you press once, it will switch between the front and rear cameras. If you press twice, you will switch between landscape and portrait mode. The next two functions only work in the DJI Mimo app. If you press 3 times, you will switch between photo and video mode. When you press and hold, it will pull out the last clip you filmed and automatically play it. Let's explain the trigger at the back. When you are in DJI Mimo and you press the trigger once, you will start active track. To stop tracking, press again. If you press twice, you will recenter the gimbal. If you press 3 times, the gimbal will rotate 180 degrees so you can film yourself with the rear cameras. To move it back, press 3 times again. The trigger also enables 2 gimbal modes, but I'll cover this in the modes section. There are 2 ports on a gimbal. One is USB-C for charging the gimbal. Another port is at the bottom of roll motor. When you connect the phone to it via cable, the gimbal will charge your phone. This hole is where you can mount counterweights in case you're using a filter or lens and the gimbal has trouble balancing the phone. Just keep in mind that the maximum payload is 300 grams, so you cannot add heavy accessories. Do me a favor, if you are getting a value out of this video so far, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing, as it really helps the algorithm and I will be able to create more tutorials like these. Thank you very much for your support. There are several ways you can hold the gimbal depending on what you are filming. Let me show you grip gestures. They work both in vertical and horizontal modes. The first one is just a standard gesture. Always hold the gimbal by the handle, never by the arm. I've seen it plenty of times before. In this mode, tilt movement will be a bit limited. So if you want to film tilting movement, turn the gimbal sideways. Now you get much bigger tilt movement. If you need to film upside down, you just turn the gimbal sideways like this until the phone rotates. To go back, do the same move. When you film with an extended selfie stick, first of all, never hold it by the selfie stick. Hold it by the handle. Otherwise, it's not going to be stable. Once you extend the selfie stick, bend the elbow this way. If you need to film at very low angles, you just turn it upside down. Let's turn it back, straighten it up, and retract the selfie stick. Gimbal modes can be a bit confusing when you are new to smartphone gimbals, so I'm gonna try to explain it the easy way. By the way, I do have a dedicated video where I'm showing how to use gimbal modes in different scenarios. I'm gonna link it below for those interested. When you turn on the gimbal, it will be in pan and tilt follow mode by default. You will see this symbol on the screen. Both pan and tilt motors are unlocked, so it will give you smooth movement to the sides or up and down. Let's press the M button to switch it to the next mode, which is pan follow mode. Now only the pan motor is unlocked, so it will give you smooth movements to the side. The tilt is locked, so it will hold the frame for you when you move it up or down. Let's press the M button again to enable FPV mode. All 3 motors, pan, tilt, and roll, are unlocked. Think of it as an airplane mode. Let's press again to get to the spin shot. When you push joystick twice, left or right, it will enable automatic roll movement. The movement will stop when it reaches the maximum angle. Let's press the M button to get to the default pan and tilt follow mode. Earlier in the video, I mentioned that you can enable automatic pan rotation. Just a quick reminder, when you push the joystick to either side twice, this is how you will enable it in this mode. There is one more mode, and that is lock mode. You will enable it by pressing and holding the trigger at the back. You will know you're in that mode once the gimbal mode indicator is gone. Now, when you move the phone around, the framing will always stay the same as all motors are locked. When you let go of the trigger, you're back in pan and tilt follow mode. When you're filming some fast movements, such as cars driving by, you can enable fast mode. Press the trigger once, press again, and hold. Now the gimbal follows very fast. The gimbal has been covered. Let's move on the multifunctional module. The module can be installed in either direction, depending on whether you want to film yourself with a selfie camera or if you are filming with rear cameras. Simply align and attach. The light should turn on. If the light is not on, check if you aligned it properly. When the module is not being used for more than 5 minutes, it will automatically enter sleep mode and the light will turn off. To exit sleep mode, press the trigger on the gimbal. To remove the module, press the unlock button at the back and then remove it. This module allows you to enable tracking in any app outside of DJI Mimo, as it has a tracking camera. When you film in DJI Mimo, the tracking and shooting features of this module are disabled, as DJI Mimo has its own active track feature. The module can track people, cats, and dogs. For object tracking, you have to use the DJI Mimo app tracking. To use gestures to control the module, you should be between 0.5 meters to 3 meters away from the tracking camera. Tracking distance is between 0.5 meters and 8 meters, so if you go further away, it might lose tracking. Make sure your Bluetooth is on and your phone is connected to the gimbal. If you are filming yourself, you can show palm gesture to enable tracking. The light will be solid green. If you are tracking yourself and the light starts blinking green, you are temporarily lost. If the light is solid red, it lost you completely. Another way to enable tracking is pressing the trigger one time. This is useful if you are filming another person with a rear camera, or cat, or a dog. If you need to reframe the shot, in other words, change the composition, you can do that with a joystick. Simply move the frame to your liking. Another way would be using the double L gesture. Once you show the gesture, the light will turn yellow and it will pause tracking. Move yourself to a new position and show the gesture again. The light will turn green and the tracking will continue. If you want to restore the composition to a default center, press the trigger twice. To disable tracking, show the palm gesture and the light will turn red. There is another gesture you can use, and that is this one, to start a countdown to take a photo and start or stop recording. It doesn't matter if the tracking is enabled or not. This works as a separate feature. Once you show the gesture, the light will pulse yellow and the countdown will start. The module has also a built-in light. There are 2 buttons on the side. This one is a power button. Press once to turn the light on, and then when you keep pressing, you will switch between 4 levels of brightness. The lowest brightness is once you turn it on, then you have stronger, second, third, and fourth. And when you press it again, the light will turn off. The other button controls temperature. Just keep pressing once to switch between 4 color temperatures. There is another way you can control the light. It is with the side wheel. Press and hold to turn on the light. Once the light is on, when you turn the wheel, you can adjust the strength of the light. To adjust color temperature, press once to get to that mode. Now you can adjust the color temperature. Let's go to DJI Mimo, as there are more functions with this side wheel. Let's turn the light on. When you turn the side wheel, you can adjust the brightness. Press the side wheel twice, and now when you rotate the wheel, you can zoom in and out. Press again, and now you're back to adjusting the brightness. How do you adjust the color temperature? Press once to change the mode focus. And now, when you turn the wheel, you can adjust the color temperature. Press twice, and you can adjust brightness. It might be a bit confusing. I found that after you press once to switch between zoom and focus, that is when you can adjust the color temperature. When you press twice, it is for switching between brightness and the focus or zoom mode. The multifunctional module has also built-in receiver that is compatible with DJI Mic 3, Mic Mini, and Mic 2. So all you really need is to get the transmitter, the microphone, connect the module to your phone with the encoded cable. Now, for those who have iPhone 14 or earlier model, you need to get a USB-C to Lightning cable, which can be purchased separately. Enable Bluetooth pairing on the model by holding the back button for 2 seconds. The light will start flashing on the other side. Enable pairing on the microphone. Once the microphone is connected, that light will turn solid green. If the light blinks green slowly, it means that it is paired with the transmitter, but it's not connected to the phone using the cable. So you have to double check if the cable is pushed in all the way. If you enable the noise cancellation feature on the transmitter, the light will be solid yellow. And if you see red light, that means that your microphone has less than 10% battery left. You can adjust all microphone settings in the DJI Mimo app. I have a separate tutorial on how to use the DJI Mic 3, I'll link it below. The module can also charge your phone. To enable charging, press the M button twice. To disable charging, press twice again. If you're an iPhone user, you can also track via Apple Dockkit. Please note that you must have iPhone 12 or later, and your iOS system needs to be 18.5 and above. This feature can't be simultaneously used with tracking feature in DJI Mimo or multifunctional modules. So let's remove it, as I can show you how it works. To connect your phone with the gimbal via NFC, make sure Bluetooth and NFC is enabled. Simply unfold the gimbal. Once the gimbal is on, place your smartphone's NFC area to gimbal's NFC area. Wait until a little pop-up shows up and hit connect. White light will blink quickly, that means NFC is pairing. The gimbal will not once it is connected. You will also see this green light right here. That means that the Dockkit is enabled. If you see only white light, it means that NFC is enabled, but Apple Dockkit is not enabled. Once you open up Native Camera app and select Selfie Camera, the light will start flashing green and you will be automatically tracked. To disable tracking, press the trigger once at the back. The light will turn off. To enable tracking, press once again. This also works in any third-party app, such as Blackmagic Camera app. If you have Apple Watch and have watchOS 11 or later, you can control gimbal movements right in the Native Camera app on the watch. You will see these arrows. Now I am filming with rear cameras. Once I move the arrows, I can move the gimbal around. If I have selfie camera selected, I can do the same. What you need to know that this is not for reframing tracking. If you are tracking yourself, the light is flashing. Once you move the arrows on the watch, tracking will stop. The light will be solid green, and now you can just position the camera where you want. Let's return to DJI Mimo. Let's hit these 3 dots at the bottom, and let's go to Multifunctional Module Settings. Here you can adjust follow speed, and under Gesture Settings, you can disable these gestures. Once you connect wireless microphone, this is where you can adjust all microphone settings. Let's go to the lower page, and that will take us to gimbal settings, where you can customize several things. Right from the top, you have Gimbal Quick Start Guide, in case you need reminder of what the buttons are for. Gimbal Mode is next. Here you can select Gimbal Mode. Follow speed is set to medium by default. Other 2 options are fast and slow. Depending on what you're filming and how smooth follow movement you want, you can select your preferred speed. Gimbal auto calibration is next. If it happens that your horizon is not in level, you can hit calibrate and the gimbal will adjust itself. If you still find it is a bit off, you can go to horizontal gimbal adjustment. It will tell you to double check if you have the phone inserted in the clamp correctly. Then you can proceed with manual adjustment. Side wheel mode can be changed to any of these or turn off in case you're constantly bumping into it and you accidentally zoom in or out. Press switch button 3 times, can be changed from photo video to quick menu. Joystick speed can be changed below. Joystick control can be changed from free to horizontal and vertical. You can also invert joystick direction. Zoom speed can be also changed to slower or faster zoom. Another option here is extended tilt mode. As it says here, once you enable this, gimbal tilt angle will be larger and only tilt control supported, which is suitable for capturing static scenes such as desktop. If you happen to film at public places or events and don't want to disturb people around you, you can disable sound and you can also disable Dockkit pairing status and following status light. Active track controls are below that are referring to DJI Mimo app. I will make a separate DJI Mimo app tutorial where I'm gonna go through all the icons and all the modes. I will also show you how to use the Apple Watch with DJI Mimo app, so don't forget to subscribe if you're not already. I will link the video below in the comments once it is out. Well, give it a thumbs up if you liked today's video, say hello in the comments, and I'll see you in one of those next. Ciao, ahoj.